Well, hello everybody. It's been about 10 days, I guess, since I changed the nutrients on this hydroponic setup. And I'm going to do that later on this morning. But I'm going to do some harvesting for the first time. Well, not really the first time, I guess. I had a few lettuce leaves that were crowding out my sage plant, so I cut those and had them in sandwiches earlier. But I'm going to cut down some of the mustard greens, which are getting really big. I don't want to have to raise the lights much higher, and these are getting up into the light, so I'll take some of the larger ones here. And I'll finally get to find out what mustard greens taste like. I've never eaten them. I hope that wasn't too much of a shock to its system. And I'm going to take just a few of the Swiss chard leaves as well. Seems to be a plant that flops around a bit. So I took some of the, I'll take another one there. And these lettuce leaves, the oak leaf lettuce, have been coming over and shading out the sage plant and the parsley plant next to it. So I'll have some of those too, I guess. I think I'll go right around that though and remove quite a few of the outside leaves. Give the interior crown leaves there a chance to develop better. Actually, some of the lower leaves started to die off, I suppose because they're being so shaded out by the larger top leaves. Well, that gave everything quite a haircut. The light here is wrong. I'm over here. Maybe I'll put the basket down over there. Turn the camera to it, and perhaps we'll get better light on it. It's not a bad little harvest for the first time. I don't think I'll take any of the herbs, the sage, the parsley, and the summer savory. I think I probably could use some of the sage, but they seem to be growing quite well, and I don't think they need to be really thinned down yet. Well, we'll go down and have a look at what's in the AeroGarden, and I'll do a little harvesting there too. Well, I've been picking the dill quite regularly. I've used a small amount of the thyme, and I've used some of the basil, but I think what I'm going to do today is just the basil. It's grown up from where I pruned it back, quite tall, up into the lights, so I'll take those two tall pieces off, and where I left these, just above these two leaves, is already little branches started in there, so I think now there'll be 4 branches come up and grow there. I'll give you a little look at some of the seedlings that are growing under lights, and that will finish what I hope is going to be a short update today. Well, that's 3 varieties of peppers, the Hungarian hot wax, the ají dulce, and the shishito. I've tried growing all 3 in other flats, which I'll show you in a few minutes, and because I had to take them off the heat mat, I was growing other seedlings in the same flat that came up too quickly, and were going to get all leggy if I didn't get them under lights. So I've decided that I will grow some of these, just a few seeds each, in each one of these. There's a pot inside there, if you can see it, with just a few seeds of each variety to make sure I get enough. I don't want very many. 3 or 4 of each will be fine for the hoop house, but I'll show you what I mean by the seedlings that didn't do too well in just a second here. Well, rather than have to write out the name, and in my horrible writing system here, I have decided to use little pegs with numbers on them this time, and I'm keeping a master list of the numbers, so I know what they refer to. Just their little boughten plant name tags. Number 7 here is the shishito, and so far I don't see anything there. I think this row here I left just empty, nothing in it, because I only wanted 4 of these each of these varieties. And this is number 6 is the ají dulce, the Latin American pepper, and I also don't see any germination there yet. May get some later on, but having to remove them from the bottom heat, and they're slow to germinate anyway. I'm not sure if they'll germinate or rot in there. That's why I'm starting some over on the other little pots. And these are geraniums, or pelargoniums if you prefer, because they're not actually a geranium, even though we call them that. Geranium is a small perennial plant. The variety is called Bullseye Mix, various colors, whatever. Very expensive seeds, almost $1 a seed. It was $9 and something for a package of 10 seeds, and I'm pleased to say that all 10 germinated. This little fellow here was the last one, came up just a day or so ago, and these 2 cells are empty. There's nothing in those, so if I don't kill them, there's 10 geranium plants there. Now, tray number 2 here I did have a bit better luck with. The number 2 here is the, what do you call them, okra. Only planted 3 seeds, or 4 seeds, I guess I'm lying. This one here is not too good at all. And they're kind of spindly and tall. I can't decide if I'll keep those or if I'll just start another seed in a larger pot, 'cause I really only want 1 plant. Number 4 here is the King Arthur bell pepper, a hybrid bell pepper. I've never grown it before, but there was good germination. I planted 8 seeds and 8 plants came up. And then this was the one that it just didn't do very well. And I had to move them over here. This is the Hungarian hot wax. I had one that came up quite quickly. You can see this little fella right there just came up yesterday, so that's 2 out of 8, and so far that's all I see. So anyway, I probably only want 3 or 4 there as well, so if I get a couple of more from the small pot that I have on the heating mat right now, I'll be happy. And lastly, just a small look at one of the 2 flats of onion seedlings. They've now been clipped back 3 times. Doesn't seem to be hurting them at all. They just grow all the faster, I think, after you trim them. So they're being trimmed back probably on average about once every week or 10 days or so. I decided to add a little clip at the end of this of preparing my greens. A little olive oil in a non-stick pan here. All I've done is done a rough chop on all of the greens that I gathered, with the exception of the basil. I didn't use the basil. One of my garlic cloves, which are getting scarce now. You can see a little bit of green in there. The garlic cloves are also starting to sprout, but they're still garlic that I grew last year in my garden, so I haven't had to buy any yet. I actually have quite a few left. Some of them are getting soft, though. I don't know how much longer they're going to last. Couldn't resist adding a little garlic to it. I put garlic in everything, so hopefully that won't overpower the flavor of the mustard greens, is what I'm interested in. Somebody told me online that they are kind of strong on their own to mix them with other greens, which is why I'm mixing them with the oak leaf lettuce and the chard that I gathered a bit ago. A little bit of sea salt, fresh kind of pepper. Snapping and going because of the water that was left on them when I rinsed them off. I don't know if you actually could call this a saute or a steaming, but I just want to wilt them down. Smells good. I think that's about all I want to do to it. Give me a taste anyway, and I'll see what mustard greens are like. a little sprinkle of some Parmesan. Now we'll see what this tastes like. The whole reason of growing the one mustard plant in the hydroponics, I've never grown it or eaten it before. I want to see how much I like it to determine how much I want to plant in the garden this coming summer. Very good. It's milder than I thought it would be. I've been told that they would be bitter. There might be a little bit of a bitter aftertaste, but it's a very tasty green, so I think I'll plant quite a bit of it. You don't need to watch me eat all day, but that is very good. So if you haven't grown mustard greens yourself, I recommend you try it. Probably shouldn't talk with a mouthful of it, though. Thank you very much for watching.